tell us more about the protocol you were talking about before and the basic fundamental human rights to achieve possession of these tools, powerful tools.
It's a delicate balance of power. That's what the great thinkers, political thinkers say. Checks and balances are everything. As powerful government is, there needs to be a check, and a check from the people. That's like the freedom of the press, and the freedom to bear arms, and the freedoms of that no one group could ever think that they could overpower the other one. The sense that there is deterrence. When we have a protocol, a protocol amongst individuals, that means that there's almost an alliance and almost like a union between individuals, because we know that governments are very powerful. We know that many corporations are very powerful, and they're using their power to and they control a lot of data, and they know a lot about individuals through individuals' data. However, if an individual wanted to solve their own problems with another individual, 3 or 4 or 5 people get together and they say, we have similar problems, and they want to complain about maybe the political problem. They can't really deal with it because the problem is beyond them. The problem is in legislation. The problem is in political groups or in pressure groups. The problems are in proxies. The problems are very distant and removed from them, and they can't have influence on them. It's on one hand very close to them. They feel it every day. On the other hand, they cannot change it. And this is overwhelming. So how does one counterbalance this power of the state, which is so manifest and palpable in individuals' personal space? How does one counterbalance that? Well, individuals can also work together to solve their own problems, but until now they can't. There's no mechanism where they can have access to each other's. When you go to work, you work at a place, and when you come back home from work, you do your personal stuff, but you don't have access to your work influences. Although you work in them, you don't have access to the documents, you don't have access to the skills, even though they're yours for 8 hours or 10 or 15 hours of the day. So with the personalized AI, your knowledge is your knowledge. And when you engage your friends, your colleagues, in your free time, you can use your knowledge and you create a protocol. That means an agreed relationship with your colleague. You might not want your colleague to know about your personal affairs. You don't tell your personal or you about your personal affairs, but you may want to share some aspects of your knowledge with your colleague for cooperation, for shared cooperation towards shared and agreed targets. AI can facilitate the entire relationship, and that is a protocol that's almost like an alliance or an agreement between our AIs, between our recessed coordinates of knowledge and instruments, influences and attributes that we've acquired over our time and throughout our friendships and influences. And if we work together with each other within a protocol, and how interesting it is that a protocol is simply an agreement. It's actually a very human idea that you choose the sets of relationships. You create an algorithm with a set of relationships, and in that algorithm, we between AIs, humanity could be greatly aided and empowered, and one would not necessarily be fearful of this power, but would be greatly empowered by that power in a partnership.